Okay. So again, I'm Essence Briscoe. I am the marketing director here at the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce on our Rutherford Works team. We are here with Suzanne Lawrence from NHC, who is going to be giving us information today about the open positions they have within Rutherford County. If you have any questions, please feel free to place them in the chat box. I have put a message there, so hopefully you had a pop-up in case you needed assistance finding that feature during Zoom. And Suzanne actually has a video that she wants us to start out with today, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. I am going to move forward with the video. Please let me know, type in the chat box if for some reason you can't hear it.
When I founded this company years ago, my vision was to provide superior nursing and medical care in a quality of life environment for our patients at each healthcare center. Excellent patient care has always been a high priority. Those who need our services deserve the best health care possible.
All right, everyone. Now I am going to stop my share and I'm going to allow Suzanne to begin her share of her presentation.
Stay with me, guys.
Perfect.
All right. Yay. Technology didn't get me this time. Hello to everyone. I'm Suzanne Lawrence. I am also a speech pathologist, and that's what I started out doing with NHC right out of graduate school back in the day when probably some of you weren't born, so we won't talk about that. But for 7 years, I worked as a speech pathologist. I relocated. I worked at a lot of other companies, and then I came back to NHC 16 years ago. I assumed a recruiting opportunity about 10 years ago, and so that's what I'm doing currently. I started out recruiting rehab therapists, OT, PT, and speech pathologists, but now I'm just helping with everything, and we need help. So I'm so glad you're on this Zoom meeting, because I'd love for you to consider working for NHC. Here's another little video. I'm sure a lot of you know about NHC. Our base is in Murfreesboro. We call it the Shrine on Vine because it's that tall building downtown. So some of you might have seen it. Some of you might have seen a lot of our locations. But here's just a little short video about, kind of makes me feel like a day in the life of NHC. So take a look at this. Is everybody seeing that?
We don't have sound.
Okay, let's see if I can get sound. Let's see. Huh. It's music, actually, is all. Not sure why. You hearing anything now?
No, you may have to go into your, like I think there are 3 dots with the settings, and it'll tell you to share your computer audio. Sometimes with PowerPoints, it can be a little tricky.
Yeah. I don't see, I see, there's just music. I'm sorry. It's kind of nice music, but there's no talking. I'm sorry, I can't find the.
Well, that's okay. We're seeing the actual video.
Okay. Sorry about that. How about now? I'm sorry. Right at the end. Oh well, I'll know next time. Okay, thanks. So just a little idea of you getting to see what kind of jobs there are going on at NHC. There's lots of things besides nursing. Of course, that's what we need most right now in the way of taking care of our patients. And we love to be an option for people who think, well, maybe I want to be a nurse. And it's a great way to try it as becoming a CNA, and we help with that. So we're going to talk more about that as we go along. But generally, I just wanted to give you an overview about NHC. That company you saw was started by Dr. Adams. This NHC The Better Way, these are 20 promises that we go over with our team every morning, and they're basically just like everything you learned in kindergarten that you forget when you become a big person and you don't use a lot of things like greeting people with a smile, making eye contact, just using people's names when you talk to them, answering the telephone with a smile. These are all kind of basic things, but in the hustle and bustle of life, we kind of forget how to be a nice, kind person. So I think a lot of these are aimed at doing that. You can see do my part in keeping the environment pleasant, anticipating our patients' needs, being a part of the NHC team. These are just 20. So we go over one promise a day at what we call a stand-up meeting. And then we usually talk about one of our locations where that principle or that promise was applied and how that impacted the day of a patient or a family or whatever. So it's just a nice way to get your day started and remind us all why we're doing what we do. Number 20 promise was kind of added a couple years ago, maintain a positive attitude, which is hard to do sometimes, especially in this time. As you all heard, our environment has been hugely impacted, as all of us have, life in general, but our poor little patients, I cry when I think about it because they can't have family members to visit them right now. They can't see their loved ones, and it's hard on them, it's hard on the families. And so the people that work for NHC become those family members. That's what we become when we're working in the building. So if you have that kind of heart that you care about seniors, or you really felt like you were always that person who could relate, think about our setting, because it's really, it kind of warms your heart to help out with these people. A little bit about our history. Dr. Adams, the fellow that was speaking on the video, founded the company in 1971. I actually had an opportunity when I first started with NHC to meet him. And when you think about it, he was super innovative. He didn't want nursing homes to be warehouses for patients. And that's what they were back in the 70s. And so he was pretty instrumental about making that change. So we began with 14 centers in 3 states and 1,000+ beds. And Dr. Adams was like only the 3rd person to get an administrator license. He was the first person to put an RN in as a director of nursing. And he was the first company to have a medical director for every center. So these kind of sound like basic things, but actually that was pretty innovative at the time. So I'm sorry can you guys still see? Did I turn anything off, or were y'all okay?
We are all good. We can still see.
Okay, good. So 1982, some of the first that NHC did was they have a foundation for geriatric education. And that is a fund that promotes education for healthcare professionals specializing in geriatrics. In 93, they had NHC Rehab formed, which is physical occupational speech therapists that work at our buildings. We also have a partnership with Caris Hospice, which started in 2003, and it's the largest hospice provider in Tennessee. So right now, NHC has 75 skilled nursing centers, 24 assisted living communities, 1 behavioral health hospital, and 5 retirement communities, with 35 home care agencies as well. So it's a pretty big company, and we're located in lots of different places. Our mission statement, NHC is committed to being an industry leader in customer and investor satisfaction. You know, we are a publicly traded company, so we do have investors that we have to sort of answer to in some regard, but basically our lead people that we want to take care of are our patients and our families. So, you know, that's kind of what we're all about, and that's the bottom line why NHC is doing what we're doing. We have a vision statement, and that's caring in a better way day by day. And you saw the better way promises, that sort of feeds into our vision statement. So just, again, remembering just basic kindness things and caring for our patients, and just trying to do the right thing. So as far as our locations, here's a map of what we have, where our locations are. There's a little, like over in Arizona, we have one assisted living facility, so I don't really talk much about that. I don't really know much about that, but since our home office is in Murfreesboro, that's where we started. We have our most of our locations are in Tennessee. I think there's about 38, give or take 1 or 2 locations in Tennessee. We have 2 locations, 1 location in Kentucky. We have about 13 locations in Missouri. We have 13 locations in South Carolina, and then little scattered locations, North Georgia, Rossville, Fort O area. We have 2 locations in Alabama. The Florida state is only home health care, but we have lots of home health care offices. 1 location in Virginia, right on the Tennessee border, and then about, I think there's 6 or 8 locations in New England. So it's kind of scattered around, but that gives you an idea of basically, so we sort of think mostly we're a Southeast company, but we do have some other states as well. So I know you guys are interested. I would expect to know what we have in Middle Tennessee, and here's just a list of those locations. In the Nashville area, we have some locations in Franklin, in Gallatin, Hendersonville, and then in Murfreesboro, we have NHC Murfreesboro and Adams Place. I'm sure some of you have seen those buildings. And then in Nashville proper, we have 5 locations. So there's lots of centers in those areas. And then surrounding areas, Columbia, Cookeville, Dixon, Lawrenceburg, Lewisburg, McMinnville, Smithville, Sparta, Springfield, Tullahoma. So if you want to work for NHC, I'm sure we can find a place close to where you live to make that possible. As far as jobs we're looking for, I mentioned initially nursing because, quite frankly, the nursing field is, we had a lot of openings before COVID-19. It's a very competitive market. We need nurses, we need LPNs, RNs, and we need CNAs. So if anybody, since the pandemic, there's been an emergency order that temporary nurses, aides can receive certification online. So we're encouraging people to consider that. If you've had any sense that you really would like to be a nurse, this is, like I said, a great way to try that out. You can do an online certification. I can help you with that, and that gives you the temporary nurse aide certificate. And then once the emergency order is lifted, you can attend a short CNA course that we provide free to become certified CNA. Then if you decide, hey, I think I love nursing and I want to pursue that, we really encourage people to do so. And we offer tuition reimbursement to become an LPN, and we help with that. And then if you would like to go on for an RN, we can help with that as well. So that's just something important to note. If that's something that you have a heart for, you want to test drive that profession, try it out with the temporary nurse aide, see what you think. We need housekeepers, big need for housekeepers at mostly all our locations, different shifts available. So something to keep in mind, part-time, full-time, laundry assistants, food and nutrition services, dietary partners. We are very much in need of those people. That's another thing. Some people just have a real interest in food service, and it's a great environment to work in. Most of our centers have a really tight team. They make things happen pretty quickly. And when you think about feeding that many patients in a building, it's not an easy task. So that's kind of if you have an interest in food and nutrition services, that would be a great way to try that out with NHC. Maintenance people, we need directors and assistants, people who are interested in mechanical things, looking at manuals, fixing things, keeping things up to date, all that. We need those people at some of our centers. Activities and wellness people, directors and assistants, coordinators that help with our patients, keeping them engaged, offering them activities that they can participate in, to help them have a pleasant day. That might be arts and crafts, that might be music, that might be reading, that might be doing puzzles. There's tons of things that we do with our patients. Every center is a little different, but we would love to have people that enjoy that relationship with one-on-one with patients or in a group setting. And a lot of those doesn't require any special degree, high school graduate, somebody with an interest in that type of career would be considered for a position in activities. Receptionist, of course, we have receptionists at all our buildings. So if that's something that you feel that you really have a gift for being welcoming to people, we'd love to talk to you about that. As you saw in that video, beauticians, we have beauty shops at our centers, and several of our centers have openings. So if that's your thing, they're great patients to work with that on. They actually love to spend time getting, as all of us women do, having their hair done, having their nails done, all those things. So that's an option that we offer too. Floor technicians, and I'm kind of new at that, but I believe those are the people on the at the centers on the unit level that keep up to date, make sure everything's working properly, the equipment is available that's needed. It's been a huge thing with all the PPE right now, and I can't even imagine how that's being handled at the center level. But so those are people that I'm sure are involved with that, inventory, supplies, all that kind of stuff. So we need those type of people as well. Medical records assistants and directors, those people that handle keeping everybody's records up and in one place and organized. We need dishwashers. So another opportunity for somebody to take a position with NHC. Unit clerks, those are the people that help with incoming calls, needs that the doctors have to assist with, making sure patients' orders and things are being carried out. Unit clerk, I believe too, is a high school diploma type position. Rehab aides, being in the rehab field where I worked, those people were instrumental in helping our department run smoothly, getting patients to and from therapy, assisting with setup of equipment and things like that. So that's another option. Social workers, that of course requires a degree, bachelor's or master's level, but we definitely need social workers at all of our buildings. And then construction and plant operations people, directors and project managers, when we build new centers, when we enlarge or do some renovations, those are the people that help with that. Right now, as you can imagine, we're not doing a lot of building. We have had some memory care buildings. Most recently, there's just a huge need for that. And that population is also unique. They're not easy. Not everybody enjoys working with dementia patients, Alzheimer's patients. It takes a special skill and, again, a special heart to kind of communicate with those people. So memory buildings, we have those, and lots of them are new, so there are needs at those locations too. And like I said before, so we have the skilled nursing centers, which have people that are coming for short-term rehab or short-term stays and going home. Maybe they had hip or knee replacements, those kind of things. But then we have the long-term care patients that live with us, and those are patients that have ongoing needs. Families can't take care of them. A lot of those might be dementia patients, other types of problems. So those patients, we have assisted living facilities, and those patients are, again, higher level living. They can live somewhat independently, but they do require help with things. So that, along with memory care and home care, we sort of have the whole spectrum of senior care, where you can find a niche that kind of suits you and your personality. I mentioned too the opportunity for education, tuition reimbursement. We're all about that, as I talked about. So if you really, I can't stress that enough. We want nurses, and we love to grow nurses our own. So if you want to start out as a temporary nurse aide, you want to take our CNA courses, which most of our centers offer free CNA courses. So that's an option too. And then if you wanted to progress and get your degrees, we're more than willing and happy and thankful if you want to do that. And we do offer continuing education for our staff. A lot of that's now computer-based training, so that, you know, we're all just maintaining our skills and knowing what's required to care for our patients and keeping up to date with that. Just a variety of opportunities for growth. So leadership, you know, we have nurses that started off at CNAs and now they're regional nurses. I mean, there's lots of levels of that. So it's a career, you know, and we can, I think there's lots of places where you can plug in, like I said, that fit your personality and your skills and what's your heart, where your heart is. So we'd love to be part of that journey for you. As far as benefits, I think they're pretty competitive with other companies. Health, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance for full-time employment. We have a 401k that the company has a generous match to the dollars that we put into our 401k. And of course, we have paid time off, sick leave, and we call it earned time, ETO. A non-taxable benefit plan, that's just, I think, a government requirement of if you have caring, you know, care for your children or things like that, that we obviously participate in. Stock purchase, you can purchase NHC stock by being a partner. You get a little bit of a benefit on that, and so that's an option too. It can be payroll deducted. And basically, you know, working for a company that shares your values of honesty, integrity, and professionals, I don't think you can minimize that benefit, because it is a benefit. I think NHC's longevity in the business, we've been around for almost 50 years, which is pretty huge. We haven't merged or been bought by anybody. We've stayed solid NHC. We've bought locations and we've grown, but we do it very, very cautiously and carefully. Right now, with the current environment, we're pretty solid still, and it's been a huge impact. I think the fact we're maintaining is because we have great leadership, very solid financially, and you know, I just think that's made a big difference with that we're still here. We're struggling with census, you know, not being able to admit patients if we have COVID positive. So it's been difficult, but all the more reason why we love to talk to you guys. If anybody has any interest in any of our jobs, and I might have missed some. I tried to go through our openings list, so there might be other things that I didn't list on that, but we do have a website, and it's nhccare.com/careers. So check out our website. You'll find open jobs there, and yeah, any other information. It does have some background information about the company as well. So that's it. I don't think it was a half hour, but with a little technical issues, we kind of kept it going, right? Can I answer any questions?
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat box. I actually have a question, Suzanne. So what exactly is the onboarding and hiring process like? Could you go over that for our participants?
Okay, sure. And it's really different for each job, you know. I don't think I can say there's an overarching, this is what we do for every new person, but I know it's important for us when we hire a new partner, we call our people partners. It's important for us that you're successful because it is financially a cost for us. And it's important for you to be successful because we want you to have a good experience and we want you to stay with NHC. So I think from departments like dietary, I'm sure there's a mentoring opportunity. I don't know what all of them are really. And I do know the company's divided up into, I think it's 5 regions most recently, but each region sort of handles mentoring for each department's their own way. So, you know, sometimes with nursing, it might be that you have a supervisor or you actually go to a different building and you just work with somebody for a week or so. It's just very dependent on the region where you're located, the specific job you're working in. And again, I just can't stress enough that we have to be successful with that. We're really working hard with turnover. difficult, and we don't want that to happen. So we're trying to be very proactive and making sure that we don't get a lot of turnover. And the way we can do that is by offering you a good onboarding experience. So sorry, I can't be more specific than that, but understand that that's one of our, I think that was one of our initiatives for 2020, just to kind of make sure we were really staying on top of the onboarding aspect for new hires.
And we have a question that's just come through. Do you have to be an employee of NHC to participate in the CNA training, or do you allow people to enroll in order to be trained and then employed by NHC?
Good question. Yeah, we do have student CNA classes, and they are listed on the NHC career site. And you don't have to be, you're not an employee when you go through the student CNA class, but the great thing is it's almost a shoo-in to have a job at that center when you finish. You don't have to work for NHC. You will have your CNA certification after you take that test. And I'm sure we'd love to hire 100% of the people that complete that. But, you know, it's not necessary. So, yeah, that's how that works. And again, the temporary nurse aide opportunity, we have a couple centers that are, NHC Murfreesboro is actually offering a temporary nurse aide class. So that's a shorter way to get that certification and start working, because the CNA class does take, I think, 14 or 21 days. So it is more involved. But again, check the website out. And I should have put my email address, and unfortunately I didn't. So that's something I just realized. But yeah, you can email me directly. It's my name, Suzanne, SUZANNE .Lawrence, LAWRENCE @nhccare.com. Good question. I hope I answered that.
And I also just put your email address in the chat box for anyone that's wondering. And
Thank
then
you.
we have had another question, and you may have touched on it, but just to be sure, if you are the temporary nurse aide position, do you still take the CNA course afterward to become certified?
Another good question. Yes, you will have to take the CNA course. I have a feeling it will be a shortened version, but I don't know exactly how that's going to look. But you will have, you know, kind of figured it all out after working with us as a TNA. So yeah, you will still have to take the course. You still will have to take the state certification to be certified nurse assistant in Tennessee. Guys are asking good questions. Thanks.
And the final question that we have right now is, why do you work at NHC?
That's another good question. Well, like I said initially, I'm a retread. So I started off as a speech pathologist, and I worked for 7 years, relocated, so had to leave, and I came back. And so that's not unusual. We have a lot of people with NHC come back. So I think it's because it's a really good company to work for. I often tell people it's not a perfect place. I don't think that exists. But I think at the end of the day, you feel comfortable in knowing we're trying to do the right thing. We're all working together. And the mission of caring for people, I think if you have that kind of heart, it's a great place to be part of. And we'd love for you to try us out.
Well, I'm going to allow everyone to type in any last questions. We have 1 minute remaining, and we want to be careful with everyone's time. But as a reminder for anyone who jumped on late, there is CNA training available. NHC offers tuition assistance to go from CNA to LPN, and then from LPN to RN. So there's some great opportunity there for a career track. There are leadership opportunities available, growth within your career. And many positions they have do not require a college degree. So if you want to just come and, you know, you have a heart, maybe you worked in hospitality, or you know someone who worked in hospitality, and unfortunately due to COVID, they were let go of their position. There are several opportunities for them there at NHC. They're already familiar with customer service. So that, you know, there might be some opportunity there, and then they may find that they like it, or you may find that you like it and want to continue your path there. So I would encourage everyone to consider that. They have shortened training available, and you can work while you learn. So I know that pay is important for everyone on the call. There's opportunity there for that. Checking the chat box. We do not have any additional questions. Again, Suzanne's email is in the chat box. And if you go to nhc.com/careers, you can find out the open position. And then, oh, we actually had Caitlin. She just wants to kind of give a shout out. She says she's worked for NHC in the past and can attest to the fact that more often than not, the employees do come back. It's a great place to be. So I think that
thanks, Caitlin, and thanks, Essence. I love your summary. You got to write that down for me.
Well, we can see your heart through this presentation. So I think anybody that's here and that's interested, I encourage you to apply.
Great. Thanks so much. You guys take care. I hope to be talking to you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Bye.